Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Sixers Sense podcast. I am Christopher Kline. The guy beside me right there is Lucas Johnson. Lucas is losing his voice a little bit, so I am maybe going to do more talking than usual on this episode, but...
Like, you have a problem with that.
I really am a very quiet person, but, yeah, we're here to talk more Sixers basketball, Lucas. We got a couple very interesting games to talk about here before we dive into some very interesting NBA news that just broke minutes before this episode, I guess hours. Let's start with Sunday's game, Lucas, against the Hawks. It was a 142-134 loss in overtime for the Sixers at home. 44 points in that game for Tyrese Maxey with 9 rebounds and 6 assists. Joel Embiid, 18 points, made sort of an unexpected impromptu return, played 30 minutes, which is the most he's played all season. 28 minutes for Paul George. He scored 16 points. He was in for a little bit in overtime, asked Nick Nurse to play him more minutes in this game, said he felt pretty good afterwards, although he did experience some soreness. So about as healthy as the Sixers have been all year, really, Lucas. 29 minutes off the bench in this game for Jared McCain, even though he only scored 5 points. So they were playing their guys, but Atlanta outlasted them in the end. A couple rough missed free throws there for Tyrese. But what were your takeaways from this game?
First off, that Atlanta should be shopping Trae Young. And we talked about that in the past already. Look, I mean, I thought it was an okay... Look, the games that Joel and Paul George had is kind of where I expect them to be at this point. I think Paul George is best served as a supercharged, third or fourth option. Like, I don't want him doing too many shots, but, like, he can still get his own. Barlow played great in this game. Joel played, 30 minutes was a lot, and then he didn't play this next game, even though there was, like, a day or two off. Kind of surprising there, but maybe not. Keith Pompey hinted towards maybe that's just what we'll get from Embiid instead of just not being allowed to play in back-to-backs. Maybe he'll play just every, have 2 days off between every game, which, I mean, at this point of his career, that's kind of okay. VJ looked good in limited minutes, though I wanted to see a little bit more VJ. The one thing that I'll say that I wish I saw was more aggressive VJ. Like, look, VJ, you need to be like second, maybe third option best. You should not be relegating yourself to a role player with these guys. Need to see more. Great Glenn Grimes game. Have no complaints there. McCain, solid. Drummond left early with a knee injury, but Bona played pretty good in his stead, I would say, overall. That's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. Barlow has looked pretty darn good these past few games. Played 45 minutes in this one and earned them, I would say. 3 steals, 2 blocks, 10 points on 5 of 9 from the field. Didn't hit any of his threes, but Barlow continues to do a really good job at the 4 spot for Philly. I think he has that starting spot pretty much locked up the rest of the way here, barring any major changes.
They just need to convert his contract now.
Yeah, that seems inevitable at this point. But yeah, I mean, overall, Maxey, obviously, I think the missed free throws are maybe going to haunt him for a little bit, but he was pretty much sensational all game. Hit 14 of his 17 free throws. It was just sort of a freak aberration there, and, that sucks. But the Hawks are a good team. I kind of agree that Trae Young's time is maybe coming to an end there. Nickeil Alexander-Walker had 34 points in this one. Jalen Johnson had 41 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists. He's taking quite the leap for Atlanta this year, which I think we all kind of knew was coming, but
yeah, Dyson Daniels looks great.
Dyson Daniels is still very talented. So, yeah, the Hawks are the real deal. This was not a bad loss by any stretch. Tough one, double overtime is what it is, but yeah,
I will say that if I'm Atlanta, I'm looking to upgrade the center position.
I don't know. I mean, they have Okongwu.
Porzingis isn't healthy, and Okongwu, he's good, but I think he's best served as a 6th man.
I don't know. I think they got some pretty good options there. But I think Porzingis has like come up in some trade talk, so maybe they
I
do
mean,
try to
he's an
move on there.
expiring contract, so
Yeah, so that's definitely possible. But let's talk quickly through last night, Tuesday night's game against Washington, Lucas. A 121-102 victory for the Sixers. They dominated in the third quarter and pretty much ran away with this game the full 4 quarters, which is not really normally how things have gone this year. Granted, Washington is maybe the worst team in the NBA, and they were even shorthanded by their standards in this one. No
I was
Alex
with
Sarr, notably, no
yeah.
Chris Middleton. But, uh, another really solid Maxey game, 35 points, 50% from the field, 6 assists, 4 steals. Not going to complain about that one. Didn't turn it
Only
over once.
29 minutes.
29 minutes, which is nice after playing over 50 minutes in the Hawks game. Dominic Barlow continues to look very, very good. Paul George had a pretty solid 18 minutes. No Joel. Janai Broom got in there for 8 minutes and went 0 of 6, which is a tough look. I continue to hold out some measure of faith in Janai Broom, but I don't think it's going to happen with this year's team. 14 for Jared McCain in 25 minutes. Maybe his best handful of minutes since returning. He's starting to look like the Jared McCain we know and love, which is a very positive development. So, yeah, if you have anything to add, Lucas, you can do it, but I know you're...
Not really. I mean, touched on all the major points, and I'll be honest, I had the local blackout, so I only got to see highlights of this game.
That's fair, right? This is probably one to miss if you're going to miss one.
Yeah.
Again, Washington now 3-11 on the year. They are 1-11 on the road. This game was pretty much stacked in Philly's favor the whole way, but it's nice to see them just blow a team out properly instead of it coming down to the wire like it has in seemingly every other game this year. So, all right, Lucas, we're going to make a quick aside here for your favorite player, Ben Simmons.
I'm done talking about Ben Simmons, but apparently you are not. I can't hear you.
What was that?
You were, I don't know, I couldn't hear you. Like,
Well,
you sound like Charlie Brown's parents then.
okay, well, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, so Ben Simmons was asked in an Instagram comment. He said, quote, "If the Sixers asked you to come back and play center/power forward, would you come back on a minimum contract?" He said, "It ain't about the money. I'd hoop there for free. It's deeper than what they make y'all believe, which is why I kept it pushing. Right now the focus is getting the body to 100% before putting my health on the line again, like I have been the past few years." This is not the first time Ben has hinted that he actually really loves Philadelphia. I wouldn't mind playing there again. He's kind of said that on multiple occasions at this point. I don't think this is going to happen, Lucas, and we might never see him in an NBA game again, period. But is there a world in your mind where we could see Ben Simmons in Philly on a minimum contract? Is it
Not
worth
a
it?
minimum, but a hardship contract, and there's literally nobody else.
Uh-huh. Sure.
Look, we kind of already have I'm not going to say better version of Ben Simmons, but a better version of this current Ben Simmons right now in Trendon Watford. Granted, he's not the rebounder, but the playmaking, not great 3-point shot, but like overall just the play style. Trendon Watford does what he does. It's not, Ben is not needed.
I agree.
And like you said, we might not never see him in an NBA. I think him turning down the training camp offer from the Knicks kind of sealed his fate. Because
Yeah.
you don't smack the hand that's trying to feed you.
Yeah, I mean, I understand if he's like trying to get healthy and like that seems like a viable reason to just kind of take some time off, but I do agree that he's maybe playing with fire a little bit. Yeah, the Philly doesn't really need him. He's not the kind of power forward that they lack.
They need
The
stretch
defense,
power forward, and if they're not going to be able to stretch, you got to be able to do all the little things, and Ben can't do that right now.
yeah, I mean the defense in theory could be very helpful, but we need to see that he can move like he used to before that, and I doubt he can. And he's never really been a natural power forward. He's not going to do the small things in the way that Dominic Barlow does. So I think Barlow's quote-unquote ascent and the fact that you have Trendon Watford, like you said, Jabari Walker's still getting minutes, Paul George is back, Kelly will be back sooner than later, hopefully. I don't really see Ben getting minutes here. I don't think it's worth the drama.
And Morey was the guy that got him out of town. I don't think Morey wants to bring him back into town.
Yeah, it just feels like too much of a spectacle to be worth the return on the court, which I would assume would be very little.
We've seen what happened when you return to a franchise that used to be really good with this year with Chris Paul today.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a slightly different situation.
I know it's a slightly different situation,
Chris Paul's
but it's still
personality
crazy.
is a bit more abrasive maybe than Ben's. But yeah, that was a kind of a wild outcome in LA, and I don't think Ben is gonna I don't think the Sixers are gonna give Ben the chance to make a mess here. So let's talk about the big one, Lucas.
Shall we?
Giannis Antetokounmpo and his agent are going to talk to the Milwaukee Bucks, according to ESPN's Shams Charania, about his future with the organization, and there is a resolution expected within weeks. That does not mean a trade is going to happen for sure, but after he allegedly asked for a trade to the Knicks this offseason, the Knicks apparently had a couple weeks of exclusive negotiating with Milwaukee but couldn't get a deal done. It seems like the field is going to open up to more teams now. Writing appears to be on the wall. The Bucks have, I believe, like 1-5 when Giannis doesn't play this year. They just don't have the depth to really contend in the East. So I'll start with this, Lucas. Do the Sixers have any shot here to get in on the bidding?
I mean, the answer is yes. I mean, I think part of it is, does Giannis want to come to Philly? I don't know the answer to that question, but what I do know is that you got two really big contracts that you can match easily. You have young prospects at the guard position that anybody would want. And you have a very interesting Clippers pick in 2028. Yeah. Or is it 27? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I think it's 28. Yeah. I think that is the path.
I mean, look, is there other ways? Is there other teams that can outbid them? Sure. But, it's not to say that the Sixers don't have a good package. The question is, and we talked about this before, does Giannis make sense in Philly? Let's talk about it, okay? Giannis is 31. He has had injury issues. They're creeping up this season already. Okay, just let me finish, okay? So you have injury issues. And then on top of that, he's 31. He's an athletic player that relies on athleticism and sheer dominance to get most of his points, right? I'm not saying that he's not skilled at all. He is, but, guys like that don't always age well, and he's going to end up playing center at some point, right? Now you could say, okay, well, him and Joel can fit together. Yeah, they can for now, right? But if Giannis gets to the point where he can't move like he can guard fours, then, that's untenable, right? You also have to pay Giannis again. Do you really want to pay an aging superstar where you're already paying two aging you're assuming that it's Paul George or Joel Embiid. Let's just say it's Paul George, right? Yeah. I don't know if you want to get into the business of that again with Maxey still in his prime. Now the other question is, how much is Giannis willing to get off the ball? Because as he gets older, he's not going to be able to do what he used to do, right? So he's going to have to change his game. Now, I will say he does have a nice little mid-range jumper that makes things a little bit more palatable. But, overall, do you want to have him and Joel next to each other? And you don't give up Maxey. Let's be clear. I know you said that during the summer. We don't do that now. Okay, that was a bad take, my friend. I'm sorry. But
no, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Things changed. It was a good take in the summer. Now it's not the case.
Okay. Well, anyway, so does Giannis match Maxey's timeline? Maxey's 25, 26. Giannis is 31. Same thing as Joel, right? So I don't know. I wouldn't give up the farm for him. I would not give up that Clippers pick. I would give up my own picks, but not the Clippers pick.
You're going to have to give up the farm. There's no way you're getting
Well, then I don't do it. If I'm Philly, I don't do it.
It's going to be Paul George. It's going to be VJ. It's going to be McCain. It's going to be...
Yeah, no, that's too much. That's too much. No, I'm good. I'd rather keep McCain and VJ. Or one, if not the other. Yeah. Rather, if I have to give up either one of them, it's McCain. But, I don't want to give up either one of them.
That's fair.
And, that... That Clippers pick is very valuable right now. Very valuable.
Yeah, I do think that's fair. Um, it's
I
tough.
just don't. I think
Like,
the price is too high. Could we bid there? Sure, but is the price too high? Yes, especially for the short term returns that you'll get on him.
I guess. I mean, I don't think it's that short of a window. Like I think you can get a good few years out of Giannis still, at least. Like I I think you're maybe overselling the injury concerns. They're there, but it's nothing so catastrophic as what we've dealt with in Philly. He's been pretty durable for the most part in his career. Um, he's still maybe the second or third best player in the world right now. Like you do meaningfully improve your chances of winning a championship with Maxi at his prime if you trade for Giannis. And like I think that's a fair case. Like if you don't trade for Giannis and you want to reset around Tyrese, he's going to be in his early 30s maybe by the time you're ready to really go at things again, and then you're in sort of a similar boat. So, especially with how hard they're kind of running Maxi into the ground right now. He's playing way too much, giving him like another proper superstar that can shoulder the load semi
Well, that
consistently.
and that's not Maxi's fault. That's Nick Nurse because you have
Well, no,
two.
it's Nick Nurse, and it's just the state of the roster, and I do think Giannis helps on that front. Of course, it's not Maxi's fault, but like you do need to give him some more help if you want to try to do anything this year. If not, you risk running him into the ground and giving him his own injury issues for really no return on anything.
Okay, but
So
like if you get Giannis, you have to make the offense around Giannis, and you have to make sure you got enough shooters. And right now, we don't have enough shooters for Giannis
I,
at
I,
the guard
you
position.
have
Sure, but
Maxey, you have Grimes, you have Kelly.
Kelly's not a good shooter.
Kelly's a perfectly fine shooter.
He
Like
shoots like 33%. Come on now.
the volume's there. I Joel can space from the five spot. Like I don't think shooting is a huge issue. You can
Well,
give
and
Eric
look,
Gordon some more minutes. Edwards
this
shoots.
is probably a mute point because there are other teams that can outbid the Sixers, and you listed some of them here.
Maybe, yeah, you're probably right. I don't think this is going to go Philly's way in the end, though I do think it is maybe something Daryl Morey would entertain,
He's going to
knowing him.
entertain it, but I don't think he gets it.
Uh, I think the favorites in the clubhouse right now are probably the Knicks. I
Yeah,
don't really know if what they would give up much beyond Karl Anthony Towns.
I
I
don't think you trade Towns. Hot take. I think you trade a combination of Anunoby and Bridges because Towns
Yeah,
is the
that really
perfect.
shoots their defense in the foot, though.
Okay, Giannis makes up for most of that, and you still have Josh
Giannis isn't
Hart.
like stopping guys on the perimeter, though. That's not
You still have
Giannis's
Josh
game.
Hart.
Josh Hart is not near the level of defender that those guys are.
Agree to disagree.
He's not. He's just not. But
Okay, well,
you do that if that is what it takes. If they want OG and McHale,
I think you have to
or they
reroute McHale to a third team and send picks to the Bucks as a result. But that
sure
yeah, yeah. Look,
you do that. But I think Cat's the better player still.
I mean, Cat works, but like, okay, here goes my whole entire thing. I've said this before. Giannis does not work next to a non-shooting big. Cat is literally the perfect big you would want to have him next to.
I don't disagree, but I do think like the defense takes a hit, and like if you're Milwaukee, you have some leverage here, and you could just I think I would want Cat more than I want OG Anunoby. Especially if I'm going to end up trading him again in a year, you're going to get more back for Cat.
So, like, okay, hot take, and I heard this from a guest on Zach Lowe's podcast. But what if instead of trading Cat or the Wings, you trade Jalen Brunson? Hear me out. Hear
Sure.
me out. You get to keep all those defensive guys. You get to have the stretch big next to Giannis. You switch out Jalen Brunson for Giannis, and then you start in Miles McBride, whatever, right?
Okay, but I just want to point out that you could make this exact same argument about Maxi.
The difference is Jalen Brunson's in his mid to late 20s, and Giannis is.
Maxi's in his mid 20s. Like, Maxey is 25. Brunson is 4 years older, I guess, but
Yeah, Brunson's
really has better guard
29,
depth to
and young,
replace him
small
with.
guards do not always age well. You
Joel,
can make
Giannis, Paul George with McCain, Edgecombe, and Grimes in the backcourt is a pretty well-rounded team.
could be, that's fair. But yet again, I'm just saying for the Knicks, you could go that crazy route. And we're not talking
Yeah,
about the
I
Sixers
I
anymore.
don't even think it's that crazy. I think that probably increases their chances of winning in the postseason.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
would
so
entertain that.
yeah,
Uh, we can run through the rest here quickly, Lucas. Golden State, they've
it'd be
kind of wanted
Jonathan
him for a while.
Kuminga,
It's just been like a
Draymond.
thing for so long.
Yeah, you would trade Draymond, Jonathan Kuminga, and whatever else you need to do.
Or Jimmy. You're kind of going one or two ways there. Uh, you could do like Jimmy Pods, Will Richard, and picks. I think that works. If you maybe get a couple role players back from Milwaukee. Depends on what the Bucks want to do there. I don't know
The
what
question
Draymond's
is in
value is.
Milwaukee, do you want Jimmy or Draymond more? That's a
I think
hard
Jimmy.
sell personality wise.
I think Jimmy. You want Jimmy more if you're the Bucks, to
I
be
don't
frank.
know.
But
I don't
you
think
could
I
argue
want
that
either
you
one
want
of them.
Kuminga the most because he's younger
Yeah.
and at least there's some upside there.
Yeah.
So depends on what the Bucks don't have their pick right now, which brings us to Atlanta.
Who has their pick?
Atlanta gets the highest of Milwaukee and New Orleans' pick. I don't really know how all that pans out off
All
the top
right.
of my head, but
I mean,
it
Giannis and Golden
you
State makes
could
them
get
more
the
interesting.
rights to your if the Bucks tank and they finish below New Orleans and they do the trade with Atlanta at the very least, that would maybe be possible. So the Hawks are definitely going to be maybe a team
Yeah.
to watch here. I wouldn't mind having Giannis an hour away from me. I can go
I
watch.
bet.
But the Hawks do have like a lot of picks that they have acquired in recent months for reasons we don't fully understand. They have good quality young players on affordable contracts. They have a big matching salary in Kristaps. They have Trae Young if you want to go that route. Like you could see the Hawks being a real
I
team
say
here.
trade Trae Young. Yeah. Get spicy, right?
Or you can pair Trae and Giannis and rework it that way. There are options. But yeah, Hawks are fun. I think the Raptors are a really interesting team. They have all their picks.
Just not even basketball wise. Toronto has a really big Greek population.
Yeah.
The very interesting diversity there.
It would be a cool city for him to be in. They have all their picks. They have a few
They could
big
do
salaries they can
Ingram
cobble together.
or RJ.
Quickly and RJ gets it done. You could go with Ingram and Pirtle or something. You can make the salaries work. You
The
can
question,
throw Colin Murray-Boyles
my
in
one
there.
concern, isn't Scotty and Giannis overlapping in skills a lot?
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think having multiple big guys who can handle and create is not bad.
And Scotty is
Overlap
actually
can be
becoming a
good.
decent 3-point shooter, surprisingly.
Yeah, I think they definitely would need to find some other shooters. It would be a very big lineup. It's not without concern, but I mean Toronto's third in the East right now, fourth,
Yeah.
14-7. They're red hot. They have the assets. I think Masai Ujiri has been
He's not
planning
there
for
anymore.
Giannis for years, so it would be kind of funny if they got him as soon as
Yeah.
he leaves. But
Yeah, that would be funny.
they've kind of been setting the table to go after Giannis for a while. So
Mm-hmm.
I do think Toronto is maybe the sneaky team we need to watch the most.
Yeah.
And Atlanta maybe. Spurs are going to be in the mix. Wemby and Giannis is a really fun front court on paper.
Yeah.
That's a pretty sick.
It would
I would
have
like
to,
to see
they
it.
would have to send both Castle and Harper, though.
I don't know. Would they? Do you think Vassell, Castle, 3 picks?
I wouldn't
and
trade
Carter
Vassell.
Bryant?
He's a perfect guy to put next to Giannis and Wemby.
Who?
It'd be Harrison Barnes, those two young guys, and whatever picks they want.
Yeah, I don't know if the money works there though. I think you kind of have
You
to
might
give
have
up
to throw
Vassell
in
or Fox.
Kelly Olynyk's contract too, but it's
I
not
think
the
you
end of
have
the
to
world.
go with Vassell or Fox. I don't think they can make the money work otherwise. I could
We
be
can always
wrong, but
check.
it's a mid-season trade, so they're not going to swap like 6 players for 5. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to completely gut the roster. Like I do think you're going to have to probably go with Vassell or Fox. I would be totally fine trading Fox if I was the
Yeah, I
Spurs.
don't
I
think
think
they
that
do
might
that.
be the
I think
preferable
they
outcome.
should, but I don't think they will.
I don't think the Bucks should do that. Uh, but yeah, I would try to keep Harper if I can. But if it comes down to that, you probably have to do it just because it's Giannis, and Giannis and Wemby can maybe win the West. As hard as that sounds these days, they certainly would have probably the best shot if they're healthy of anyone in the West, which is saying something given how good Denver and Houston are. So yeah, uh, how do you feel about Dallas, Lucas? Do you think Anthony Davis and 4 first-round picks even gets Milwaukee on the phone?
No, they don't want Anthony Davis.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of think that's the case. I think Dallas should call, but probably not going to happen. Maybe you could work something out with like Kyrie and a few other guys, but
Maybe.
Dallas is probably a bit of a long shot. It would. Yeah, I mean, I think Nico Harrison probably had some Giannis delusions himself, so be a nice homage to him. But uh, yeah, who do you think are like the 3 most likely landing spots, Lucas? If you had to pick,
Uh, by the way, a trade around Barnes, Johnson, Carter, Harper, and Castle does work.
yeah, but then you,
Uh,
you have to get like 3 other guys back too.
well, they're sending
But
Giannis and
yeah,
Gary Harris.
yeah, but then the Spurs
That
have to
being
find 2
said,
other guys off the
I mean,
street.
yeah, you could switch out.
But
They have
yeah,
the minimum contracts to do that. But to your question, what are the most likely landing spots? The Knicks, the the Raptors, and the Spurs. I would say
I think I agree. I think you could work the Hawks into that. I think the Hawks and the Raptors are kind of
tied. Yeah,
tied, maybe. I probably would pick the Raptors too, though. I
yeah.
feel kind of strongly about them.
But I just think the Spurs, him and Wemby, that just gives you ooh.
Like Toronto has like done this thing where they are a very good team, but they're probably not good enough to win. But they are spending a lot of money on this roster. They aren't going to have a ton of lottery picks here probably the next couple years with the way things are going. They're kind of stuck if they don't make a big move.
Yeah.
So you've kept all your picks. I think they're kind of building towards this. This might be the one where you push all your chips in.
I mean,
And
the
see if
Hawks have
Giannis.
essentially the Bucks or the Pelicans pick, which is
Yeah,
look
which
the
the
most.
Bucks would like to get their own picks back,
Yeah.
which is another. That would be a potential advantage in Atlanta's favor.
Look,
But
if I'm Milwaukee, you got a chance to retool around Trae Young. You do have some interesting pieces if you get Trae Young and maybe a draft pick and some other stuff
I
back.
I would rather get the pick and try.
But here's the thing: if I'm Giannis, I'm trying to look. We know what's coming in OKC. Trae Young will be destroyed by OKC in the finals. But if I have a backcourt of Dyson Daniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, that's
Maybe
defensively. If you trade Trae Young defensively with Giannis on that team, they're going to be too much.
maybe it's a 3-teamer where Trey ends up somewhere else.
You really just don't like Trae and Milwaukee, do
Well,
you?
I just don't see the point for Milwaukee if they're gonna
Okay,
tank. If
well,
they can
look.
tank, if that is an option,
You know
why
who
are you
also
gonna
has a Bucks pick that needs a point guard?
who?
The Pelicans.
Yeah, well, I mean the Pelicans also need to. I guess they can't tank. Maybe that would
If
be
you
a really
trade
sad
Trae,
outcome
hang
for
on.
Trey.
Now you got me thinking here. Give me a second.
What was that?
You got me thinking here. Give me a second.
Okay.
You do the Hawks, and then you add a third team in the Pelicans.
What if they just trade Giannis to New Orleans?
No, they're not going to do that. But what they can do
The team we haven't actually talked about that has by far the most assets available to them is OKC.
They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
I agree. I don't think they will, but they could if they wanted to. And frankly, they could and keep all three of their main guys probably. And it would be a very, very good team. I do think you maybe shorten the window a little bit, which is why they wouldn't do that. When they're 21-1, they don't really need Giannis, as crazy as that is to say. But OKC has the assets to get in there if they really want to. But I agree that they probably don't. As far as other potential kind of sleepers on the outside here, I think Miami will try to throw their hat in the ring. I doubt it. I don't think they have enough. I think Detroit would be interesting. Frankly, I just don't know if Milwaukee wants to trade Giannis in the division.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense.
If you're getting good value back and you're tanking, it doesn't really matter. But
all right, so this is a 3-team trade.
Okay.
Hang on, I forgot to do the picks. Give me a second.
You can just lay it out, and people can fill in the picks.
Well, no, I just want to make sure that Milwaukee gets their pick back from New Orleans and from Atlanta.
If you're Boston, do you trade Jaylen Brown for Giannis?
Yes, but they won't.
I agree. Boston would be interesting.
Here's the deal. Milwaukee gets Zion, Kayvon Looney, Asu, and Newell to their picks in 26 and 27 back. Hawks get Giannis, and Pelicans get Trae Young.
I think the Hawks. I think the Bucks need more than just their picks back. Giannis.
I'm saying Zion Williamson.
Zion's a negative asset. Zion is hurt again. He's going to miss weeks. Zion's cooked. Zion is not like a big positive.
Okay, well, you still get a former first-round pick in a Newell, and you get their picks.
Asa Newell hasn't played any this year, hardly at all. Like he's like the 19th or 23rd overall pick. Like that's.
Are you doubting the screen-setting power of Kayvon Looney?
Yeah, I don't think that's enough for Giannis.
Okay,
you're gonna get outbid. Well, I do like getting their picks back, but you need more on top of getting your picks back, I think.
Well, like I said, I don't really know what else you can do there, except if
Chicago makes an offer.
Chicago will make an offer, and he said he doesn't hate Chicago. So,
it's Michael Jordan's team.
What do you offer? Tell me, what do you throw at him?
I don't know, man. Josh Giddey.
No, I don't think.
It's going to be Buzelis. It's going to be Assange. It's going to be some of the young guys in whatever contracts can make it work, which is pretty much
Vooch, Pat Wills,
or Giddey.
Yeah.
They might try to get Giddey, and it's hard to say no. I won't give you Josh Giddey for Giannis.
But is him going to Chicago any different than him staying in Milwaukee? Either. The answer is no. Plus, you have the divisional thing again.
Yeah, but I think you might want to give up Giddey there because I don't think him and Giannis are the most synergistic.
That's fair.
Duo. Portland?
No,
Portland? Probably not.
I like Denny too much. Denny's having a breakout year. I don't think you messed that flow up.
Yeah, I don't know if Denny's good enough to say you don't go after Giannis. But
I don't say that you don't go after a star, but getting a guy that plays the exact same position doesn't really make sense.
That's fair.
The Lakers call with what I have no idea. Maybe LeBron James.
Yeah, it would be very funny if they traded LeBron. I believe LeBron has a no-trade clause.
He does.
So I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
Orlando?
Yeah, Franz and Paulo. Do you really want to mess up? I
want to give up one of those guys is my only question. I do think it makes them better.
Yeah, but
Which one do you
you
give
could
up?
have 10 years of success with those two where you you have a decent chance of making the finals
Do you?
versus, a slightly higher chance now.
I wonder if you can do a Desmond Bain, Jalen Suggs package and just have 0 guards.
No, you would have 0 shooting then too.
Jace Richardson, baby, his time
I'm
is
good.
here. Okay,
I'm good. I'm good.
Jace has looked pretty sick when he's gotten out there. Okay,
Yeah, but he's not good enough to do that.
well, I think he is.
Well, we can all have wrong opinions.
Oh, clearly. Yeah, I think at the end, Toronto, New York,
Atlanta and Spurs.
The Spurs. That's the right 3. All right.
That's fair.
I think we've pretty much wrapped everything up. That was kind of our Around the NBA here.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't really have much else except for the fact that feel bad for Portland because they lost all their guards, so they can't really win games without guards.
Yeah. Feel bad for Chris Paul too, but that is what it is. All right.
21 years is a long time. You're going to rub somebody the wrong way eventually, I suppose.
Yeah, seems like Tyler did not like him. But, all right, guys. As always, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Sixer Sense podcast. Please like, subscribe, follow along. We are on Spotify, Google Play, Audible, YouTube, Apple Music, all that fun stuff. Or I guess Apple Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Sixer Sense. I'm at Kline NBA. What was that?
You said Apple YouTube.
Apple Podcast.
You said YouTube first.
No, I didn't. I said Apple Music.
Oh. Yeah. Sound like YouTube.
That's at CoachJ_20 over there. And we will be back soon to talk more Sixers. Peace out, guys.
See ya.